podcast, joined by a man that I look up to quite a bit. Of course, you've probably seen his number 22 jersey hanging from the Raptors at the American Airlines Center. Now we're going to give you the story behind the man. Of course, Mavs great, second leading scorer in franchise history, Rolando Blackman. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, okay. I'm doing real great. Having a good summer.
Just we're going to touch on your summer because I know you've been busy, traveled back to your native Panama City, Panama. But let's talk about the Mavericks of old. Of course, you are a big face of that. I saw on NBA TV there was this nice round table with yourself, Mark Aguirre, Derek Harper, Sam Perkins, and it just brought back a great feeling of the 1980s from the lows when you first got started. You know, of course, you were drafted at 81, number 9 overall, and then to the highs of this team reaching the Western Conference Finals, getting to that 7th game against the Lakers and coming up a little bit short. But just how would you define that whole decade of the 1980s?
The biggest thing about it, I think, was growth and inclusion. That's exactly what I'd put it in that kind of a light. Simply because it was a time where it was all new basketball here. You know, when Norm Sanju decided to bring a franchise in here, and then find a guy like Don Carter and his wife Linda to come on in and be the owners of this basketball team, and really they incorporated the whole city in our growth. Every time there was a newspaper article, every time we were going to practices and being all in and around the town, the whole city was a part of the growth. They knew that it was going to take a little time for these new guys to come on in and bring a basketball franchise up. But it was a fantastic thing that we felt that it was an incremental move up, but that everybody was behind us. And I mean, it was pure crazy being in that reunion arena, of which today I still feel so sad when I drive by there and there's no building.
That's so crazy. When you talk about the reunion rowdies, let's talk about how this whole city got behind you guys whenever you first started. Of course, you were a young expansion team, a lot of young talent. You guys, yeah, I mean, it was hit or miss in the draft, but it seems like the franchise was always hitting on great players that you were bringing in.
Well, that was a good thing, because I think anytime you had a guy like Rick Sund and also Dick Mata, who had won a championship in Washington, and you had the basketball minds here ready to go and really put the avenues together. And being that it was an expansion team at that time, they had a good utilization of first-round picks that were going to be guys who could play the game of basketball, and they really did a great job in pulling everybody in. But the greater job with that is to being able to have the attitude, the peripheral attitude was what's important. Even when we were winning that first year I was here, we won 38 games. It felt like we won 60 because the town knew and understood that there were young guys here. We were going to grow. Dick Mata was at the helm, and he was pushing us hard to being able to get stuff done. Norm Sanju and also Mr. Carter made it a family atmosphere. It was a great feel, almost like kids growing in that kind of a sense, and with the city around, knowing exactly what the parameters were going to be and being able to be in on that whole situation. So it was just a fantastic time of growth, but it was also hard as heck to try to find out and learn the parameters, because, you know, you win 38, that means the rest of the games you're getting your butt kicked all throughout, but you're learning and you're moving forward. So as we went through the 38, the 42, and getting all up into making our first playoff and really putting it all together, but everybody was included. That's what we felt. We felt a great inclusion, and it made it a lot better for us.
The guy you brought up, Dick Mata, you won 55-27 with him, and then early playoff exit. But watching that round table, I think what you said was Dick Mata wasn't a guy you would shoot the breeze with. There wasn't that type of situation, you know. But what kind of impact did he have on your career, or even you as a man personally?
Well, a fantastic impact, simply because in coming out of college, I had to make sure that I had to get the emotional balance and to grow the heck up and make sure you just play some man basketball out there on the court, and being able to not be coddled, because coming out of college it's all for one. It's everybody in. It's a lot of hugs and everybody's all together. And the pros are like, do your job or else. You know what I mean? You get paid on the 1st and the 15th, don't you? So it was a tough snap into it. And the thing about Dick is that he had this system that made us and gave us an opportunity to being able to not only play on the court, but just to make sure you realize your time. I was always on time and taking care of business in that way, but he was just a tough guy on mistakes, on things that you would do each and every day to try to drive you to make you better, and learning the principles of what it is to be a pro, the focus of getting on that court, no matter if it's 4 games and 5 nights, or whatever the situation is, to make sure that you're ready and principled to jump out here and play the game. and he'd ride you to that level. And in being that way, I was already crazy in that way too, all kind of idiosyncrasies. So the main factor for me is that I bought into it, tied into it, and understood exactly what needed to get done. And that's the principal thing that really helped me to move forward, because I took that package with me every day, every training camp, and it made me a better player, and I was able to lock into to being very good simply because of that whip. And we got a whole bunch of whip, believe me about that. Great situation, and I owe a great deal to Coach Mata for putting that system in and helping me to grow up into an NBA pro.